So here we have Integration Tester. You'll notice, by the way, it's launched a couple of other things as well. We're going to go ahead and create our new project. Just call it Demo. There's a lot more steps in this wizard, but for now we'll just hit Finish. And this will build us our initial project. Now when it loads, you'll be in the Home perspective, which is where we start to see a lot of tools and guides to help us get going. So here we have a create a test for a web service, and when we click on that, it takes us into Architecture School, and it started up this interactive guide on the right hand side here. From now on, you can actually follow the guide in the product. So if you click on each of these buttons, for example, that will then guide you through this. It says start the add numbers service, and you'll see that was one of the two things that got started behind the scenes, so we want to start that. I actually need to go ahead and press the start button on the service, so we'll just press that right now. And that gives us a URL which we can simply copy, just use Control-C, and that is started. Okay. The next stage tells us to go into Architecture School. We're actually already there, so we'll mark that as complete, and switch to Logical View. Now we're actually already in Logical View as well, so we can see that and mark it as complete. Now we want to import that WSDL that was at the end of the URL that we just found, and so we can click Perform here. Notice that the guide comes into the new page with you. Click New, paste in the WSDL URL here, and press OK. And you'll see it does some analysis for us. Now again, there's more to this wizard than this, but we can just go ahead and press Finish, and that will actually bring in all of the information in the WSDL so that we can actually see all of the different components. So again, now I'm going to go to the test factory and actually use these components, and we need to create a new test case. So in this case, we need to go across to the right hand side, right click on our addition step, and create a new test using message exchange pattern. We'll call it our demo test. Okay, and we can mark that step as complete. We now want to double click the send request action in order to be able to edit it, and this is just letting us pass some values to our addition service. So in this case we're going to add 2 and 2. So I just put a 2 in argument 0, 2 in argument 1, press OK, and mark that step as complete. So what we're doing here is we're configuring the test case to interact with the web service and pass particular data to it. Because we haven't set up an expectation, when we run this test case, which is the next step of the process, what you're going to see is the test case is going to fail. Okay, and failure is interesting, right? When we run a test, if it passes, that's great, but if it fails, we need to understand how we deal with it. So let's go ahead and click on this error line here, and we'll see it opens up a window for us, and this is the message differencing window, which gives you a graphical side-by-side view of what you configured in the test and what you've set up in your expectation, in your response. So in this case, we can see we hadn't set any expectation, and of course the service responded with 4. So what we can do is right click on that response and say we want to replace this or overwrite it, or whatever we might want to do. In this case I'm just going to overwrite it with a 4, and we can then simply close this test and re-execute it, and we now have a passing test. 2 plus 2 goes to the web service, 4 comes back, we validate it, and we're happy. If you want to, you can restart, and if you go back to the home page, there are further tutorials that you can follow.